We're going to have an interesting discussion here. Greetings, my name is Nina. Welcome back to my channel. I don't usually talk about such things here. I usually talk about books and music on my channel, but I decided to talk about something else here because once 2025 started, my YouTube feed was bombarded with videos where YouTubers say what they're going to stop buying in 2025. Okay, on one hand, that's actually quite a good thing because you get to save money and space for more meaningful stuff, yada yada yada. And also, my YouTube feed was bombarded with videos where people are like, oh, I'm not consuming stuff, yada yada yada. Like I said, good, but it's not enough. Okay, in this video, I'm not going to explore this trend, the trend of not buying things. A lot of YouTubers have already done that. What I actually want to talk about in this video is my approach to buying stuff. I don't know, maybe you might agree with this. Anyway, let's get started. Where should I start? Well, the first thing I'm going to say that I actually kind of calculate the stuff I buy. Well, not always. There's a place for impulsive buying, and unfortunately, there are chances that something that seemed cool in the moment of buying eventually turned out to be shit. And yeah, actually, after watching these videos where people stated what they're not buying, I actually decided to make a list of my own. I decided to cut out some things this year, or at least reduce their amount. I decided there are things that should not be bought. Well, I have my own reasons for that, but nonetheless, I'm definitely not jumping the trend. I'm definitely not subjecting myself to minimalism. Controversial opinion, probably, but I hate minimalism. I hate it. Okay, it's not that I'm a massive hoarder or a massive spender or something, but I really dislike this trend. I actually like having a lot of things, a lot of nice things. Sure, I get that there are a lot of so-called influencers out there influencing people to buy stuff. There's a lot of advertisements or something. There are a lot of brands out there and they're like, buy this, buy that, yada yada yada. No, I'm not going to roast them. However, I do actually think that despite some impulsive purchases, a lot of purchases can be calculated. I mean that you gotta think, do I actually need this? Should I do that? Should I get this? And is it good? And so on. I just think that there should be at least a little bit of critical thinking when it comes to buying stuff. There is one quality about me. If I discover something that I really want, and I can actually get it, I'm not going to calm down until I have it. Well, for example, I recently got myself a Moleskine journal. I read Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang, and the Moleskine journals were mentioned there. I've heard of Moleskines before. I was really much surprised that notebooks were so expensive. But yeah, then I read the Yellow Face, and then I was like, maybe I should get Moleskines. And I watched videos dedicated to Moleskine journals. I researched why they are so good, and then I knew I wanted a Moleskine journal, and I got myself one. Journaling has never been better. I think I've never felt so fulfilled while writing in a journal. It's definitely a nice one, definitely worth it. It was definitely worth the money. And I also got the journal on a discount. And guess what? I want more Moleskine journals. The journal feels nice, and yeah, I'm feeling it. But then on the other hand, we have people who buy way too much stuff. And I get that there are a lot of influencers out there influencing people to buy stuff. Too many advertisements. And like I mentioned, a lot of influencers are influencing people to buy stuff, buy this, buy that. On YouTube and TikTok, there are a lot of videos where people buy way too much stuff. Let's focus on books in particular here because I have a channel dedicated to books. So I have a video on my channel named The Things I Dislike About BookTube, and one of the things I do not really like about booktubers is that they kinda tend to buy too many books. Even for me, somebody who does really like buying books, it's too much. Well, I think that because I really like to research books, why should I buy them? Is it worth the money? Is it too expensive? Does it look nice? Is the annotation good? Yada yada yada. I count these factors, and I'm less concerned with the fact whether a book is super popular or not. Nothing against popular books, it's just that I approach buying books with a bit of critical thinking, I guess. I guess booktubers, they buy popular books without thinking much, well, because they believe that popular books are going to attract views. Well, I actually spoke about some popular books and it did not help me out. But I do have a video on my channel where I talk about books that I'm not going to read, where I talked about some books that happen to be popular, and this got a few thousand views. I still haven't read the books from that video, not planning. Okay, I'm not saying that all booktubers are like this. The biggest channels kinda are, I guess. Why am I making this video in the first place? Well, I just wanted to share my perspective on things. I just wanted to share how I approach them, and I do think that I am kind of reasonable. Well, I do actually like nice stuff, but I do question myself whether I should buy them or not, and why should I buy them, and yada yada yada. But don't get me wrong, there's still place for some impulsive buying. Yeah, it happens. I'm probably going to shock certain people who are definitely on the not consuming side of things, but I actually do like doing that. If you can have nice things, if you have the opportunity to get them, you should, because why not? And I think that there is no shame about it. And I think there's nothing to be ashamed about. In short, a lot of people, they should learn a balance. I do have a controversial opinion that materialistic stuff can make you happy under the right conditions. Well, if it's a meaningful purchase, or maybe it's a gift from a loved one or something. And yeah, a lot of YouTubers also complain that materialistic stuff took over the spiritual side of things, yada yada yada, or something like that. And I kind of disagree. Okay, maybe that's because I do not live in a very individualistic society that consumes a lot. I do not live in the West, and here things are completely different. No, don't get me wrong, people here in Georgia do like nice stuff, just not to the same extent. And it isn't just about the money, it's also about the mentality, I guess. But I guess that we do know how to balance things, how to balance between materialistic and the spiritual. When I say the word spiritual, I mean the relationships between people and so on, the sense of community or something. Well, the point of this video is that balancing is the best. This is what I'm basically trying to do. I am trying to be more critical towards buying stuff, and at the same time I love getting stuff. So this video is more about my personal approach to stuff and what I think is great. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. And yeah, I do want to remind the people that you do not have to catch up with others. You don't necessarily need to chase the latest trends. You do not need to buy stuff that you do not really want. That's not necessary. Do what's the best for you. And at the same time, you should not be ashamed of getting stuff you actually like and can get. Do what you think is right for you and others. Well, that's what I try to do. Well, speaking of books, I really cannot stop buying them. I had a record last year. I bought 74 books, and there were two that I should not have bought, but that's only because I bought wrong editions. So I will try to be careful with purchases in the future. Okay, so that's all for now about the careful approach to stuff. Well, maybe you agree with me or maybe not. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Goodbye.